Welcome back, guys, to another Digital Cheesecake podcast with myself, Lee, and Sarah. So this is our first recording for the year, and super excited to talk about
Pumped.
what we're going to be talking about.
I
So
realised it was our first recording of the year.
I know.
Kick it off, Sarah. What are we talking about?
So today, because we've noticed a lot of this change last year, is going from marketing director to founder or business owner. And I think
A lot of people doing this.
Yes, and I think we've all got our own kind of like war stories. I think we've got some key points that we want to cover as well. Maybe people are thinking about it, they're a bit scared, or maybe they are actually thinking that they want to do it just because like most other people are doing it at this level at the moment. But I think not everyone is doing it out of choice necessarily. But I don't know. What do you think about that? Do you think people are more...
I could talk forever, Jack. So you want to go, mate?
I could just talk from what I can see. So there's loads of senior people who are out of market.
Yeah.
Every day.
But do you think more than last year? Like, what are you thinking? Because last year was obviously like, whoa.
It's a continuous stream.
Continuous thing. Yeah.
Everyone's getting made redundant. There's restructures taking place.
Still, you feel like that's happening now, redundancies and stuff?
Look at last week's.
Yeah.
Or was it this week? Russell Bromley went under.
Yes.
The whole head office are now out of work. We've had similar situations with
Russell,
other businesses.
I didn't know this stuff. You've got all this goss. Not goss,
Russell
but
Bromley.
news.
I think Next bought it. Next bought 3 shops and the IP for 2.5 million pre going down. But then they've had about 33 shops. So there's about 30 shops. Think about all the retail staff and then everyone at head office. So we're seeing this every single day.
Yeah.
And there aren't enough. I mean, we're really busy with senior opportunities.
Yeah.
But the senior opportunities.
Great for you guys.
Which is amazing.
And
but we get a lot of opportunities at the 100 to 150. But anything from 150 upwards is
it
diminishing.
still the case? You think it's not happening that 150 upwards? Yeah, because we've had some roles going on at the moment and some people are putting in 150 for an account director. And I'm like, guys, this is not going to happen. Like, even for that level, you know?
That's high for an account direct. That's rich.
Yeah, but people are applying that coming from like a CEO role. They're applying for like more junior roles. Like, you know, like they're kind of just like applying wherever they can at the moment, which I think is just like a spray and pray still. People are freaking out.
Yeah.
There's so much I could talk about on that topic. That's interesting, Jack. Okay. So
I think we're still seeing people moving because they want to. So it's not just, as you said, last year, it was kind of, oh my God, lots of people out of work at the senior level need something, will look a little bit lower. We are still getting that, but I do think people are also choosing to move as well. But I feel like from last year, almost people are having to become a business owner out of necessity. So I don't know if necessarily everyone's ready to do that yet.
What was your feeling again, Ellie? So what happened?
I don't know. Like, it's so funny. I speak to people from your WhatsApp group, of course, that people are just like interested in chatting about the journey and going from like marketing director to founder. When I did it, it was it was like, 2.5 years ago. And you guys would know I was calling you and I was like, I want to go into these roles and CMO positions. Very much if you want to go into CMO, like I was doing one, but if I wanted to go into an industry that I really wanted to go into, I had to have had 5 key brands. Like now that I see CVs all the time, like for like what you guys have talked about, it's like, if I wanted to go work at a fashion brand like R.M. Williams, which is my client right now, I would have to have had all of the top brands on my CV to get in there.
That's a really good point because when we spoke, obviously you're coming out of education and then when
it wasn't even education for that long. I was like...
It wasn't even that long, exactly.
It was the latest role I had.
But it's your latest role. So when clients come to us, they're paying money to get the close fit.
People.
So if they want fashion experience, they want fashion experience. But that's a really good point. So you created your agency, became T-shaped, and then R.M. Williams got you that opportunity.
And now I work with these brands, all of them directly. So I guess like if people wanted to, depends if people really care about the title of CMO. I ended up looking at it and did it in one role and it was like a mixed blend. But I was like, actually, I don't know if I even want this role anymore. Like, it is a really freaking hard role for everyone. The average tenure is really short. Like it's one of the toughest roles, I think, like getting around because you've got like, less time you're even going to be in the role. And then it's also just so much pressure from like every department because people can't attribute marketings. I actually think it's harder to do it than starting up your own business. As long as you can get comfortable with like, paying staff or potentially not having money in here, you got to get comfortable with that. But if you wanted to get into certain brands and you weren't getting in there, going on the consulting or building your own thing was the faster way for me to do it, because I was like, well, there's just obviously a view. Everyone cares about brands. And you guys would obviously say, sometimes I talk to you and you'd be like, we know this candidate's amazing, but the client wants these brands. Like, there's not much we can do about it. And, and I was just like, so annoying. So
But
such
that's
a
a
brand
really good
driven marketer.
example, because a
Yeah.
lot of fashion people, let's just say it, won't look at education, people from education, because it doesn't translate well. But you are capable of doing any
God, yeah.
any
Now I'm
sector.
like,
But going into
anything.
the agency, you have that ability to straddle loads of different brands and have that opportunity. So Arvin Williams
Yeah.
saw it and they gave it you. But I think it's a lot easier to do it if you are able to go at it yourself and contact people directly, as opposed to like go through a middleman like a recruiter.
And when you're
for
an
example.
agency, they're not looking at your CV. Like, of course, I can say these are the brands I've worked on because I did agency, but they're not really looking at a CV. They're looking at your presentation skills and, so like such a different game. And now when you work with one brand, it's like you can work with the rest, but it's very hard from a marketing director point of view. Yeah,
it's hard from a marketing director point of view, but I also think that a lot of people will be sort of questioning, okay, can I really start a business? And I do think it isn't necessarily for everyone. I'm sure you would agree, Ellie and Jack. Like, I think you have to also, before taking the leap, it's like getting the balance between, do I just take the risk and just go for it and see what happens? Or do I actually think about it first and think if I'm actually capable of doing this? Because I think if you, want a 9 to 5, or you're not happy with grey and you want everything black and white, I think starting a business is probably going to be, maybe not the right path, or a more of a stressful path is what I would say.
I wanted to work with good people, and I wanted to choose the people I worked with. Not saying that you can't in a marketing director, but if you're in one company and you get stuck with tough people, teams, whatever, and like I can see a lot of stress from people. Like every time I say that word to marketing directors, like I just want to work with good people, they'll be like, oh, because most of the time they're so stressed from personalities than they are from
managing that process.
Yeah, I mean, it's not for everyone starting a business. I get it. But a lot of people love saying it. Like one of my friends said, I just want to start a business. Like all I want to do is start it. And I'm like, but like, why do you want to start it?
Exactly.
Starting it is easy. It's about being consistent when your days are bad.
And that's what I see with lots of freelancers and people, like so many people saying they're going out on their own and they're like in their mid-30s. Oh no, mid-20s. And like, I wasn't ready to do it then because I wanted to I still loved hanging out with people and I still loved teams and being in companies and stuff. So you do it earlier on. They're like, I can do this on my own. But you've got to, I've seen so many people do it and then they go back into full-time work because you've got to be like all about the sales stuff. You've got to get comfortable that you're pitching yourself all the time, which like for me, that was really hard. I found that like mentally that was hard, that like I was becoming a salesperson versus like,
you hit a brick wall. You hit like you were in the trenches. And you hit the trenches
a lot.
And you have
to be. And you have
the trenches. Yeah.
And make tough decisions. And also having people sort of dislike you and making decisions and doing the work without anyone patting you on the back. I think that's a really hard thing because
constantly no patting on the back. Like, you don't get any recognition.
No recognition. Yeah, you literally get no recognition. So I think if, a lot of people do like having that in their career, if they want to build within a career, they do like recognition. So I think if you don't want to go under the radar, then sort of starting your own business is not really for you, because most of the time you have to make tough decisions. You have to deal with grey people disliking you because of those tough decisions. You have to keep going through it because, no one's going to congratulate you for doing anything, and no one's really going to give you that recognition that some people, I think, do want. So I think going into it for the right reasons is really important. As you say, Ellie, it's that why, isn't it? Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
And really, really kind of weighing everything up. So I think that's a key thing, before
I love
starting
the why,
a business.
Because my why's changed from starting a business.
Yeah, correct.
That's true.
I bet. What's your why?
So my why when I first started the business was obviously for financial freedom.
Yeah.
And
so weird people say that word, financial freedom.
Yeah, it's to be free, but basically use money.
Are you free?
No.
No, you're basically in the chain and shackles of trying to grow a business.
Someone said that yesterday. Carry on.
But I think it has changed over time. So mine is just to be the best version of myself and get the business to be the best version of itself as well. So whatever that looks like.
Exactly, the best version. And that's like a full mental game. Like I had to think about that with Fred, my husband, is like, what does success look like actually? Because in my mind, it was always like revenue increases. It wasn't that I wanted heaps of money. It was like I wanted constant growth. And he was like, but some businesses are happy with like being stagnant every year. So like, is that really what is important to you? Like, and then actually what I love doing every day is like, I loved getting to see the team and the people and the brands I work with and everyone enjoying coming to work. Like, I think that was kind of like, I don't know. I just find that's like, it's interesting, Hayes, that when you start doing it, obviously money comes with it, but the financial freedom part is interesting. Like a lot of people say
I think it's just about trying to be the best version of yourself. But I think when you're trying to start up your own agency, sometimes a lot of people think I've got to have this sort of network or I need this amount of buffer in the bank, like 6 months. Like when I first started the business,
that's me.
I had 1 month of money in the bank. I was living off cans of beans and tuna for literally 3 months. And I think what's really important, but I did it after 2 years out of uni, where some people might do it 10 years out of uni or 15 years out of uni.
Mhm.
And I think if you're in an individual and you think you're at the top of your game or you've reached that pinnacle point, it doesn't matter how many years experience you've got. You just got to go and do it because it's still scary. Like that leaping into the unknown is super scary.
Yeah, it is scary.
But I think there is an element of you feel as though you're kind of separating yourself from the pack.
Yeah. You do
like
feel like...
For me, I would say there is hardly anyone that works as hard as me in my... Well, I've not seen it.
Wow.
I just work crazy.
Amazing.
So in the business that I was in last, it was a situation where I wanted everyone to be on the same page as well.
Interesting.
I was a young buck.
I
had loads of energy and just wanted to go
God,
ahead.
even more than now. You got a lot of energy. That scares me.
I think in terms of people who are looking to make that leap from CMO to becoming an agency, I think there's a steep learning curve, like you said.
Yeah.
It's that business development side. The first year is hell because you've got to try and get your name out. You got to get your name out there, and you're trying to network.
I didn't find it as bad in my first, only maybe because I was like, I don't know. In my mind, I decided that this was going to be my first year. I was going to try it out, and if I didn't make this any money, like I guess it was like I set my expectations so low because I was like, I don't want to be so stressed by the fact that, that I need to achieve something. But then like year 2, year 3 was probably more like, I don't know. Some people say you're right. Like some people say the first year for everyone can be more stressful. I felt free. I was really not anxious, but in my old jobs, I was doing so much for other people that like I was on the clock 24/7. So when I actually was only just me, I just felt like I felt relieved. Like, so I don't know. It could be different.
What I like about your journey, you built up your credibility and then built up your contacts and then you made that switch and started cashing those contacts in. So there's two routes, isn't there? Because like for me going from obviously it's different from my side because it's recruitment, but I had no contacts to begin with because beforehand I was doing legal recruitment.
True.
And then went into market. But I think your route is actually a really, really good route. Learning on the job, building up your contact base, go agency side, and then start cashing those relationships in with really good people that you actually want to work with, like you said.
That you want to work with, which is why it's important that, like, hopefully you got good relationships from companies you worked with. But yeah, I mean, some people I've spoken to, though, have got this, and you would have seen it, Jack, in some of the WhatsApp chats, is that they are consultants, but they started their own consulting business, but they don't want to do agency. They don't want to build a team, right? Which is like a lot of people. My sister's the same. Like, she doesn't want to build a big company or whatever. I wanted to like work with good people, train people in my team. I wanted to have a team. But most people, it doesn't seem like they want to do that. But you got to then be comfortable with that you will be doing all the work for the client. And that is really junior work. When I was speaking to someone in your chat last week, I was like, they're doing an MBA or something on the side and they've got the consulting business, but they're like struggling with the volume, like not the volume, but like all the admin stuff of like setting up Facebook accounts. Like, I don't want to that's not the best use of my time if I'm building a business to set up Facebook accounts for clients, like it's like a few £100 or whatever. So you kind of either need to get comfortable that in consulting, you are doing the really like junior work.
Yeah,
like
doing
it is
everything.
what it is. I kind of like it, but like some people are like wanting to still be senior. You can't when you're starting a business. You're not the senior person, maybe 5-10 years. But I've had some people come in and be in my just that I've worked with being like, I want to be XYZ. And I'm like, we're all just going to be scrappy. Like,
yeah, that's
how
it.
it is.
You have to do everything. And I think that's something that we often have to recommend as well. It's like before you quit your job, do you know, what you mentioned that Ellie was doing is building all of your networks and almost like making it a bit of a side. And some people do it this way, where they make it more of a side thing, a side income, a side hustle before then, and getting it to a point where they think, oh, actually, yeah, now I can make this my full hustle, and then I can take that leap. So if you are a bit nervous, but you still feel that you want to do it because you've analyzed your whys and you think actually the whys definitely are pushing me more into a direction where I want to be like a consultant, I want to be a founder, owner of my own business, then at least you have that as you said, Jack, like as a buffer. So you're not just kind of literally like jumping off a cliff straight away, and you've got that buffer. But then you do have to, you know, as you said, Ellie, understand that you're not just going to be the strategist. You're literally going to be sales. You're going to be finance. You're going to be delivery. You're going to be emotional support if you have a team or you want to build a team.
Yeah.
So if you're testing,
and you do shit jobs. You do shit jobs.
You do everything. You do literally everything. And I think if you want to test the idea while you're still employed in a full-time permanent role, I don't think that's a bad idea to do. At all.
I did that. I started so many years ago now. They're not going to come after me, but I started.
Yeah, you have to be careful, obviously, because of
because I set the business up probably like 3 months before actually leaving my business, and I was working as a PAYE.
I've done similar stuff too. I've done other people seen that. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting when you look at business owners, their backgrounds, you know, on LinkedIn, it's like a lot of them have worked at short stints everywhere, or like have, in inverted commas, job hopped. And that just goes to show that people get bored easily, or don't like authority, or
can't be managed.
Just basically have that entrepreneur. That's me as well, yeah, like that entrepreneurial streak. And I think sometimes we need those people, because those people create jobs.
You do.
Those people drive the economy. Yeah. And those people drive the innovation and marketing.
Yes.
I do agree.
Agreed.
But it's also like I've had some bosses, like I don't always think like, you know, it's always been a thing that people think you're the problem, right? And you should go start your own thing. I've had
some bosses. This sounds a bit like a start of therapy now. I've
had some bosses
that have been so amazing that have like known how to channel my energy into like, I'm here for you, I'll support you. So I think sometimes like what I'm trying to get at is like, you know, don't go start a business because you think you're never going to be able to like work with people. You might actually just not be at the right company. Start it for the right reasons is what I mean. Like I started because, like you said, Jack, you get to a point where you're like, you know what? I feel like I've learned a lot. I've got a lot of people in the I loved being in the corporate and the agency life. I've had all of that mix. And now I really want to go and do something that I'm passionate about. Like I wanted to do something 4 or 5 years ago, but I think I wasn't actually as ready as I was like when I was leaving that company. I was really like set. I was like, turn 30. I want to have a family eventually. But a lot of people say they want to start a business to be a founder, but you're not actually a founder. You're like, it's really hard. My first year, I didn't love my work, and that really stressed me out because I was like, always love my job. And I was like, why don't I love it? It's because I was doing the shit stuff, but I had to do it. So like there was always a lot. So sometimes I think it can be like, really, it's like, what are some of your whys? People want flexibility, but you never actually turn off when you're a founder. So you get flexibility of like, you know, hours and when you can do whatever, like what you want, but you're always on the clock if you're happy with that with the client. If you're a 9-to-5 person, don't think that founder life's going to be for you. Yeah,
I agree. And I think, but also you kind of end up also loving the doing bit, because you actually get a full ownership of absolutely everything. So I know you mentioned that you didn't really like that bit. And I think that's a good point for any marketing directors who have got to that point where they are pretty much hands off and they're just, you know, kind of leading a team to do the stuff. You almost do have to fall back in love with doing the do. And I think that's the general consensus across the board anyway, because even if you were to do consulting fractional or go into another business, even as a perm person, in this day and age, because team sizes are reducing, you're going to have to be hands-on anyway. So you have to kind of fall back in love with it, I would say.
Yeah, I think so.
I've always loved
it. Did you guys find that in your first year that you like loved it, or there was like, aside from like there was hard times, did you find that you were like, oh, this works really good, I love that I started my own thing? Or was it just real, like you were just like, some of this work sucks?
I think for me, I've always been surrounded, all my family and extended family all own businesses. So when you're surrounded by that and their family friends also own businesses, you're surrounded by these entrepreneurial, forward-thinking people. So whether it's in your blood or not, you feel as though you've got to go that direction or do something. So I think for me, it was relatively easy, the mindset side of things. The only difficult part was what I would have maybe changed. Actually, I wouldn't have changed it because it helped me dig
It
deep.
helped.
I think having a network beforehand, because my network was legal, coming into marketing, it's totally different.
So hard though. Like it is. I moved from a new country and I didn't really have, I had some.
Yeah,
so
true.
like,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, you did a bloody good job, but yeah, it is hard. You're right. Like build a network. I mean, the WhatsApp group you created has helped so many people talk to each other. Like it's just stuff like that.
And it's taken so long as well to build that. That's over like 8 years. So again, you know, people, and I think, you know, people even said to Jack in the beginning, like, oh yeah, I'm not sure that community group is going to work. Like, I'm not sure I'm really interested in it.
Yeah, there was a really,
those people
had those comments before.
There was the director who said to me, I just don't think that would work. I think that's a bad idea.
Still?
It won't catch on.
Is he in there?
They never came in.
Still in there.
I asked her, and then, well, because she said that, she never got put in. But
so
I think
nasty, like people saying that.
But there's something about helping.
You know, people feel like that. Yeah.
There's something you get a kick out of helping people.
Not in the group.
Even if it's not financial, you get a kick out of helping people and connecting people.
Yeah.
So that's what it's there for. So connecting peers, because there's nothing out there really.
It's an amazing thing, I think. Yeah. There's so many people in there that it helps. Like, what a cool, after all the stuff you've done, I feel like it's such a cool thing. Just one WhatsApp group is helping like literally 700 people.
Yeah, so many people.
But it's a simple thing, though. It's just literally putting people in a WhatsApp group.
But building it as well, because it's taken so long. So people think, that's the thing. People think, okay, it just happens like overnight. But with anything, same with the business.
I would have said, not just myself. I would have said ROI on this WhatsApp group. Where's the ROI? You know, like if I was involved at the start.
But it's not just myself. There's Sarah building it, Millie building it,
got
our
team
previous marketing
manager
building it, and all those inputs have made it a success. So I do say it's just a WhatsApp group, but it's much more than that, in terms of the community. So
the community's got like really, really strong and really big, and we've met some amazing people from it. So I think that's the beauty of these things. But just like owning a business, if you take the leap, you're going to have to be patient. So I think another thing is if you're not patient, it might not be the route for you.
Also, I'm not patient, so that also helps drive things, especially in terms of...
You're patient to see things through, though. But
I've learned to be patient. I've learned to be patient. But do I accept it from time to time? Actually, no, I do accept it. It's just hard to be patient.
We're all like, we want work done ASAP, but we know with certain areas that like sales, like I expected with like being from digital that my leads come in, I get them, they convert. Now I know they take 12 months for like, I've got to nurture someone, at least 12 months, if not 2 years, which is so long for some people to wait. But it's just like, I think I'm constantly changing my mindset on stuff. Like I'm constantly having to tell myself, this is enough. Like you're constantly trying to teach yourself stuff because you're going like this. So, I mean, obviously we could talk, I was thinking with these ones, and correct me if I'm wrong, but we could do obviously a few part, 1, 2, 3, 4.
We could do like part 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's so many parts we can do.
So we could maybe summarize if we want to with some like pros and cons, what you guys think for some people. Like, what do you think the pros are and what do you think the cons are, and whether people can, what do you guys think? Not to put you on the spot.
It's a good one.
What's the question? To starting a business?
So pros of starting your own business.
I forgot what we're talking about.
Yeah, I think pros, like a massive pro is definitely having that full ownership end to end of running a business, because I think what we can see is no matter what, if you're CMO, even CEO, in some businesses that do still have a founder, you won't get complete ownership. It's just hard to happen. And even if, you do end up running your own business or, you're running it with a partner, obviously you still won't have 100% ownership because you will still need to make sure that those decisions are shared. But the pro is massively that you get full end-to-end ownership. So I think if you're struggling with that, just, struggling with kind of pushing back and, dealing with other founders or other CEOs.
People taking your marketing budget and like constantly like you're doing the work and then everyone's shutting it down. That is hard.
Yeah, exactly. So you get full ownership, but that is also a con because everything falls on you. So it's, can you live with it? Some people think that they can live with taking full ownership, but then it does mean that basically everything, absolutely everything comes down to you, and you can't put it on someone else. When you're working in a company, you can put it down to someone else, but when you run your own business, you absolutely have to take the full ownership. So I'd say, yeah, that's a pro and a con. And another pro is having some fun, amazing people around you. But again, sometimes
not so amazing people.
Yeah, exactly.
And you got to deal with that.
Yeah, and you have to deal with that and take complete ownership of that as well. I think it's seeing something kind of flourish and seeing people flourish. That's always a massive pro. And I wouldn't say it's a con, but as you say that if you're wanting a 9 to 5, then the con of running a business is that it's never ever going to be a 9 to 5. So get that out of your head. Like
I'm having a baby and I can't really take any time off. Whereas I'm talking to all these ladies and they're like, I'm taking 12 months off. And I'm like, cool, see you never. So like, that's good for you. But I'm fine with it because I like the work. I still want the business to grow. So like, I don't know. Yeah, I agree with you on those pros and cons, is that like marketing people get constantly said no to and their ideas are taken over because everyone's involved in marketing. Everyone cares about social media and all this stuff. So you're right. The ownership thing is nice. It's like you're working on something and you know that you're going to deliver to this, but then you have a client and they might tell you they don't like what you've done. So, but you have ownership. So I think that's a good one. I would say pro from full-time to founder is, the people is really crucial. I care. I mean, depends what fills your cup. People fill my cup. Like, obviously we met you guys and then we've done this podcast. That stuff fills my cup of like meeting new people. We get like that wouldn't have been possible before. So that's quite cool. You get to own your own connections. So I'd say the people you get to work with. I think if money's not as an issue, we get to say, great, we only get to work with these clients that are really sweet and we love working with. That's a huge pro for me. Every day I get to work with people that like are appreciative of our work.
Yeah. It doesn't always happen at the start though, because I know that when you start, you're just like, yeah. And
you
then
take all the stuff and you're like,
you take all the stuff.
The moment we can say no to clients, we are going to.
Yeah. It's important to do that as well, because everyone needs to treat each other with respect, really, when it comes to business.
There's also a huge pro of all the community that supports founders and like people starting business. Like I've seen that in all the WhatsApp chats of like, I'll help you out and I'll do this. And some people say, wow, a lot of the time you started your own business. That's so amazing. People say that a lot because they're thinking in their mind, I want to also think about doing that. So I'd say the pro of like in my first year, it was so heartwarming. Some of the people that I worked with of just like wanting to get coffee and all of that stuff. So I'd say there's that. I don't have too many cons. I'd say it's really hard with like hiring, I think staff is that like it's constantly everyone's coming to you. There's no like, wow, you're doing a great job as the owner. Never. No, it's just like, it can be complaints, which at one point you're just like, oh my God, like, because you're meant to be the problem solver, whereas no one can solve your problems for you, which is hard.
All you can do is cry into a pillow at night. That's probably
or your poor partners will usually, have you talk to each other about it.
Yeah.
My husband, Fred, is just like probably so over it, literally.
But it's only just the beginning,
Yeah.
But you have to have that outlet, as you say, because when you're a founder, as a business owner, you have to have someone that you can speak to at least, and it is normally going to be your partner, because otherwise there is literally no one that you can speak to as well when you're dealing with all that stuff. Obviously there's the wider network that you will have to tap into owning a business and all the third parties that you will need to tap into for advice. But ultimately you have to make the decision that's best for you. And when you get a lot of different kind of opinions, that can be very, very hard as well. So you do have to take your time and kind of really mitigate everything and do what is best for your why. Like always going back to your why, as you said. Going back to your why is really important.
I'm just listening to you guys intently.
Are you? I was like,
I'm listening. I'm listening. I think for me, what was the pros and cons, like yourself, Ellie, I don't think there's too many cons, but when I want to switch off and I can't switch off, I mean, a lot of the time, my personality is to keep going. I love keeping busy and I enjoy working nonstop. That's just my
Yeah.
personality. And
Yeah.
I'm not the majority of the population, but that's what makes me happy. That's what makes me positive. I also miss going through all the struggles through the journey. So at the very beginning. So,
You miss them.
trying to win a client and then finally winning a client. And my mindset is not to kind of stress
It's
about.
such a good win. It is a
Yeah,
nice win.
it's not to stress about winning certain clients or losing certain clients. My mindset shift has changed. We will end up working with every client that we'll go after. It's just a matter of when. And it does
I
happen,
love
doesn't
that.
it?
It's a really good thing of thinking
Yeah,
way.
Jack says that.
And that way, if you have that mindset, you can have fun having your conversations, catching up with people, networking.
That's a great mindset.
There's not too much pressure on it. But also from my
But that's because you
perspective,
might have a bit more financial freedom.
exactly. I think that's the case as well. And then, it's just the client wins, striving, becoming better. I love failing, learning from the failure. I know it hurts in the short term, but
Oh
actually
my
failing.
God. I don't even know what are you failing at lately? I haven't really.
Even small stuff. There's been big stuff along the way, but it just shows that you're improving as an individual and doing all the scary stuff. At the first, doing this podcast, it was scary. Do you remember that first podcast? I was literally like a statue. I was just looking around the room going,
I wish we recorded it, but we did. But
it was just my head. It was like my head on a stick just moving.
Oh.
So just
We
doing
have
stuff
to
like
do
that,
those things.
doing more
It's
events.
so funny.
And our approach is to not to hire from our competitors, not hire from other recruitment businesses and train people ourselves, and to see people in the business
Yeah, that stuff is the most rewarding.
who've come in from ground level and just seeing them improve and giving them the opportunity, and then working closely with just really nice people who just want to work hard and just likable people. It's just nice to work with those and seeing those grow.
We're lucky that we both have that. Like, obviously, we've got Millie and Ruby in our teams, and we've got other people. I've seen some of the ones.
Look at Millie and Ruby, isn't it's
so
nice.
Sweet.
They've got the right mindset. They can approach. They can do literally anything. But then they can do anything, but they've got the right approach to it. And it's working with those individuals, because we're working 9 till 5 and then some. It's actually nice to work with those individuals because it makes the day go quicker and more enjoyable.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard though when you have a business, like getting those people to work with you. Like finding them to get
it takes time.
The talent to get that talent.
Yeah, it takes time. And I think it also takes time to get really nice clients, because I know Jack's perspective is like, yes, we'll work with everyone. It's a matter of when. But I always say that yes, but not if they're like literal douches.
Difficult.
Because, and I think that is
I never hear you swear on this podcast. I love it.
What douche? Yeah. No, but I think it is important, because you need to get to a point where you can actually be comfortable with saying, actually, no, I don't need you as a client, because if you're going to be like that as a client, it's not fair to you and it's not fair to me. We're not going to be able to work together. And I think it's really important to get to that point as well. Like, you don't have to feel, and it doesn't even necessarily come with more financial freedom. It comes with, okay, if I do this for this client, am I going to be doing this forever? So you just do need to set a bit of a precedence of what you will accept and what you won't, and that includes rates, everything like that. You have to really think about, if I accept this now, how long am I going to accept it for? And, clients need to be good as well. Don't
pull your pants down too early. That's the thing on rates and things.
And as a
it's
client,
hard to negotiate up.
Sometimes you can, but the ones that I've not done, like a fair rate, have actually taken the mickey and it's actually not really nice. I've had, I've told you about some, Jack, that just constantly aren't paying bills because they just don't want to. And you're just like, we're real humans, everyone, needs to be kind to each other. Maybe it makes you more humble when you're running a business, because you're looking after your staff. Like, it's really personal when it doesn't pay. It's not for you to get more money. It's for your staff.
Exactly.
Which
and
I think is like
clients, as we always talk about episodes, they're not spending their own money, with like marketing directors, some CEOs, CMOs, they're not spending their own money. So if they treat you like crap, it doesn't matter to them, because it's not their money. But when you switch those tables, and if it's your money, then you'll be a lot more conscious of it. So I think, if you're going out into the world alone, still, as Jack says, set that precedence of what you will accept with clients and what you won't.
Set the boundaries.
Set the boundaries early. It's really important, because it shows where you're going to go. Even if you are looking for financial freedom and it puts you in a difficult spot, I always think that's okay, because you need to say no. If you need to say no, you need to set those boundaries. do it,
That is
because,
such a pro
you know,
though, because like
yeah,
last night I had an example of one that was quite frustrating. And in my mind, I was like, you know what? We don't need to work with this person. It's not
yeah,
this business. And you get to have the choice of not doing that. That
yeah,
in your old companies when you're full time, you had no choice, but you had to deal with that person every day. It's
yes.
like being in prison. I remember my whole
Yeah, it can be.
watching
Yeah,
this prison
can
show
be.
last night, and I was like, you're just given this person every day. It's not going to be good for you development if they're quite tough on you. So like that is such a pro that you can choose who you get to work with.
Yeah,
It makes the
yeah,
biggest difference.
it does. It
Yeah,
does,
well,
definitely.
there's
Let's wrap
obviously a
up.
lot we could cover. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
Part
Thanks,
one,
guys.
part
Part
100.
one. Yeah, pros and cons. If you want us to cover anything more that you think of,
Of the
or
next
that
steps.
you want to know a bit more about running your own business, let us know in the comments and we can make a follow-up, I'd say.
See you guys.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye.